Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. Prime Minister Andrej Plenković and several of his ministers were in Slavonski Brod today to discuss improving the region's transportation infrastructure. The meeting is part of the Council for Slavonia, Baranja and Srijem, a government initiative that aims to facilitate development in the Slavonia region. The government said it was working on amending legislation that would reduce development inequality, give regional development coordinators a larger role, and improve efficiency in managing development.
These are all measures that come in a package that is aimed at more effective and more balanced regional development. We are going to work on increasing allocations to the Regional Development Fund, especially because of advance financing for EU projects and later co-financing for these types of projects.
The calls for tenders you're referring to, ones for which businesses can compete directly, cover the entire country. This means that the sum of 350 million kuna, which has been allocated to the counties in Slavonia and Baranja, represents around 20% of the total that's been allocated. Social Democrat Party leader Davor Bernardić is criticizing the government for withdrawing Zagreb's candidacy to host the European Medicines Agency. Zagreb's application was pulled on Monday, just hours before it was announced the agency would be relocating from London to Amsterdam. Bernardić said the bid was botched and described it as an embarrassment for Croatia.
The Prime Minister's courage can be measured by the fact that he agreed to pull the bid. While in Brussels, they treat him like an errand boy. At home, he plays the great leader, although he hasn't solved a single problem. Agrokor, INA, HIP, the border with Slovenia, these are all still unresolved issues. This was a political decision. It was deliberate as a message to our partner countries that it is not fair that some countries host a number of agencies while others have none. Regardless, this was a useful experience. All of the criticism, I think, is coming from a lack of knowledge about this process.
Now that the criminal investigation against ousted Agrokor owner Ivica Todorić has become official, his lawyer says he cannot access the case file until Todorić gives a statement to Croatian judicial authorities. Todorić is in London and refuses to return home to face the allegations against him. Čedo Prodanović signaled his client might be willing to give a statement to judicial authorities in the UK.
That depends. He has suggested the possibility. We'll see if it can be done.
The parliamentary commission that is also investigating the Agrokor case is due to convene again tomorrow. However, the criminal investigation is now official, and the HDZ argues that under the law, once that happens, lawmakers must yield to the judiciary and dissolve their commission. The opposition argues that only Parliament can make such a decision.
The Commission will meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. as planned. I expect our colleagues to turn up. I think that tomorrow we will conclude that circumstances have changed and that the Commission should be dissolved immediately.
The UN War Crimes Court in The Hague will announce its verdict in the genocide trial of former Bosnian Serb military commander Ratko Mladić tomorrow. He was charged with 11 counts of genocide and war crimes for the worst atrocities committed on European soil after World War II, including the 1995 slaughter of 8,000 Muslim men and boys in Srebrenica. Mladić faces a maximum life sentence if convicted. The mothers of Srebrenica, who lost their husbands and sons in the massacre, are in The Hague to witness tomorrow's verdict.
When he first arrived and the cameras were on, he passed out chocolate and candy to the children. He said nothing bad was going to happen and that we shouldn't be afraid. After the cameras were turned off, he gave the order to kill as many people as possible, rape as many women as possible, and expel everyone else from Srebrenica and the area around it to create an ethnically pure city.
Zagreb is hosting this week one of the biggest video gaming fairs in the region and in Europe.
The 6th edition of Reboot Info Gamer has opened at the Zagreb Fairgrounds. It is expected to attract some 70,000 gamers from Croatia and neighboring countries.
I love games and I love the community around games. It's great. I plan to test all of the games I didn't get to last year and maybe buy something new.
Virtual reality is incomparable to a screen. It's a fun, new experience. We are really breaking records this year with the number of exhibitors, the size of the space, and the number of world premieres.
In sports, Croatia's basketball team is preparing for a new round of qualifications, this time for the 2019 World Championships in China. The reshuffle team has welcomed some younger players under coach Ivica Skelin. They are in Zagreb practicing for 2 upcoming qualifiers. First, they play an away game in the Netherlands on Friday, followed by a home game against Italy on Sunday. Kasim Kamenica is leaving handball club PPD Zagreb. The 63-year-old is out after a string of losses for PPD in the Champions League. The Croatian champions have played 8 games in the league this season without a single win and are in last place. Zlatko Saracevic, who coached the team 3 years ago, will replace Kamenica.
Tomorrow's forecast calls for mostly sunny skies. Only the northern sections of the coast will see some heavy clouds, especially around Rijeka, where there is a chance of light rain. The coast can expect a light to moderate southeasterly wind. Some sections of the north coast may see some south-southwesterly winds as well. Morning lows will range from 1 to 6 degrees in the interior and from 6 to 11 on the coast. The day's highs will be between 12 and 17 for most of the country. It will be slightly cooler in the mountains. The 3-day outlook for the interior calls for relatively warm and dry weather until Saturday. There may be some isolated showers in the mountains. Winds will pick up on Thursday and die down on Friday when there is a good chance of morning fog. A southwesterly will rise again on Saturday, bringing clouds and rain, especially later in the day in central Croatia. On the coast, little change is expected in the weather on Thursday and Friday. There is a chance of some light rain in the north and on the central coast. Southeasterly winds will pick up on Saturday. More frequent rain is expected by Saturday evening, especially in the north, which may see some heavy downpours.
And that brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.